Good morning, everyone. Tonight is December 15th, 6 o'clock meeting, our Board of Trustees regular meeting.
We'll call the roll. Zipko here, Mr. Mahoney,
Here.
Mr. Crandall,
Here.
and Mr. Genowine is trying to get here. He's caught. He called and is caught up in a traffic tie-up on the express highway.
Shall we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from November 4th, November 17th, December 1st, special meeting December 1st, and the special meeting of December 2nd.
Second.
We'll call the roll. Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Anything on the agenda, additions or deletions?
I have none.
Do you want to?
Yes.
Did you want to get with JB now?
Yes. At this point, I'd like to take the agenda a little bit out of order and request to go into executive session to discuss pending or imminent court action.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session at 6:04.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes. Can you guys hear us in there?
Yeah.
Raised
Screaming and yelling, Neil, so that's all right.
raised voices, yeah.
Okay.
You know, it just pisses me off.
What?
It's just bad business.
Oh, I agree.
I'm ready, Neil, here.
Okay. Did you get that figured out, Sams? Okay. I'd like to motion to come back in from executive session at 6:50.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Okay.
See, Darryl, we got a brief monthly report tonight.
What's this stuff? Okay, monthly report for zoning for the month of November. We had 26 permits for the month at just under $4.5 million in estimated value. Year to date, we're still ahead of the past 2 years at 449 permits and just under $58 million in estimated value. Single-family dwelling permits were up to 91 through November, and I will add that we've had 3 since then, so we're at 94. We've already broke last year's total of 92 for the whole year. And then we're at 24.45 million of estimated value, and that was a 2.7% increase over 2014. Zoning complaints starting to slow down somewhat. 14 for the month, and we're up to 202 for the year. That's a 31% increase over last year. The BZA had 3 cases last month. One was the Her Road semi-public use and recreational facility that was voted down. And then also the amendment to the condition on the conditional use for the paintball, that was voted down. What was approved was an exception request for temporary use for a pole sign at 6760 Central. That's the former Shell station on Central and McCord. Zoning Commission didn't have a meeting, and Project Plan Review, we didn't have a meeting. That's all for my monthly report, and I have one resolution. Resolution 15-158, authorization of abatement of debris for the property at 2605 Warner. This is a house that the owner has moved out. There is furniture and mattresses and debris in the front yard by the street. 2 letters have been sent, and one's already come back from the post office. There's a for sale sign with a phone number on it out front. I called that. The number's been disconnected.
I'll offer resolution 15-158, abatement of the property at Warner Avenue.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Darryl, how's that did somebody get back to the Alexis Road landscaping business? We got an email.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you get it? I don't
Yes,
remember.
yes, I did, and
He asked us to get back to him or to file action.
I just gave the addresses and names and everything to Mr. Burrell. He's going to contact the property owner and the tenant. He was also included on that email as well.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so we're going to do, I don't want the guy, I'd like somebody to get back to the complainant and say,
Here's the plan.
yeah, here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he doesn't have to, he kind of indicated like, this guy's back in business there, took some trucks back in. He had some pictures.
Right, well, yeah.
I'd like to be
I saw
sure
one
that-
picture, yeah.
I'm hoping we call him rather than he calls us again.
Okay, yeah, I'll check with,
Or sends us another email.
I'll check with Mr. Burrell tomorrow to see where,
Okay,
where
thank
he's
you.
at on those.
And even if you don't hear from John, maybe just send him an email indicating you got your email and that give him a plan of where we're at.
I think we're probably going to have to file on the guy. I know John doesn't like to do that, but if he's got trucks back there again, I guess it's a game he's playing. I don't.
Yeah, well, he's allowed to have one commercial truck up to 12,000 pounds. That in and of itself isn't a violation, but it's certainly
Yeah, but there's
questionable.
an unpaved driveway. I think it looks to me
Well,
like.
what else is there is that he has a commercial truck with a large advertisement
Right.
on it. He also has other equipment like a chipper shredder that's commercial equipment. There's a trailer that's commercial equipment. And I don't think that, I don't know what exactly our zoning resolution, but I don't think he ought to be able to have all that paraphernalia there that relates to his business. And he can get away and when do we say enough is enough when he has 20
Right.
there? 20 of these trailers, they're not over 12,000 pounds.
Well, no, you could have two trailers and then one commercial vehicle up to 12,000.
So the
pounds,
picture you saw, though, he's out of compliance, right?
No, I would say he isn't because he has the two. The yellow pickup truck looks like it's just a regular pickup truck. I didn't see how
Yeah, I
commercial.
thought I saw a
But the
pickup truck, a chipper, a trailer,
right,
and a larger truck.
right.
So I saw 4.
Well, the pickup truck, I think is
Is
just
that behind his property, too, all that equipment? Don't you have to be behind the house? This guy that's complaining is a pretty good guy. He's not, causing trouble to the township. And when he asks that we get an email, just respond. Just get back to him and tell him we're working on it.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
I don't want him to get called. He calls me pissed, and it just starts the whole thing up. And you're good about that. Just get back to him.
All right.
All right.
Any other questions?
No. Thank you.
Thanks, Darrell.
Thanks, Darrell. Next up is Road Service Department. We have one resolution, and Rob will address it. It has to do with the cemetery.
Good evening. I got just one item, resolution number 15152. This involves the establishment of the association cemetery rules, regulations, and fee schedule. The fee schedule periodically should be reviewed and updated, and the establishment of the rules for the cemetery would provide consistent enforcement of rules and allow the staff to be able to reference those when we receive complaints.
I'll offer Resolution 15152, establish cemetery rules and fees.
Second.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yeah,
Good idea, Rob.
thanks, Ron.
Thanks,
Thank
Rob.
you.
Steve, monthly report?
Yep. Good evening. I'll try to be brief.
Thank you.
First couple pages are just our monthly reports. We still are going an upward swing from what we were last year at this time. We're running a lot of chest pains on that next page, Scott. We're running some increase in chest pains and trauma. We had a lot of trauma last month for some reason. I'm not sure why, but excuse me. The next two pages are our mutual aid requests. We had 15 incidents where there were no EMS vehicles available, transport units. So we asked other agencies, whether it was Richfield Township, Springfield Township or Toledo to transport the patients to the hospital. We continue to work on the ambulance. I've met with Alf in the shop, and we're going over the ambulance, tweaking a couple things that we need to get it in service. Our projected goal still is January 1st, if we can get that going by January 1st. Page 6, public safety education. We have 5 public safety events where we did, most of them are just leftovers from Fire Prevention Week. And we assisted in 6 homes, installed 6 smoke detectors, and we assisted in some fire drills. We, too, like the police, have to go into the schools and assist them and observe their fire drills, as the police have to observe their lockdowns. Notable projects, we had 15 plan reviews. Plan reviews are up again. We're still seeing quite a few of those. 10 final acceptance tests. And Deputy Chief Frederick went down to Columbus for 2 major meetings. One was on for fire officials, State Fire Marshal Office on the codes, and then also to go to a hearing on updating of the locking code changes for school facilities where they want to change the lock systems to be able to lock down the schools. Last page is our overtime. It's down considerably from last month, I'm happy to say. We have 3 candidates, our full-time candidates that I'm on track to start on the 21st of this month, which is, I think, next Monday. They'll be in fire school for approximately 3 weeks, and my goal is to get them on shift, 1 per shift, starting January 10th.
Nice.
And that's all I have.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Will you let us know if that January 1 target
Yes, sir.
gets delayed? Or,
Yes, sir.
hopefully we can. Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Thanks, Chief. Chief Bomey?
Good evening. You have before you the monthly report for November. We'll go over it real quick here. On page 2, you'll see the calls into the police fire dispatch. I won't repeat the numbers. It did total 7,444 total calls. Page 3, you'll see our some of our data. Calls for service were a little bit down. Tickets were pretty close to about the same year to date, a little bit down. Property damage accidents are a little down, I'm happy to report, and injury accidents are running about the same. Burglaries, robberies were a little up. Identity theft were way up, which is a sign of the times with the computers and such, but everything else is pretty steady. On page 4, you'll see our prisoner transport cost analysis. That continues to be a good deal for us, assisting the city. It's only cost us that much overtime so far in assisting the city with transports to and from court. Page 5, you'll see the detective caseload stats. 62 cases were assigned for the month, 40 were cleared, and the far right column, I won't repeat all the numbers, but you can see the different totals and such. They did clear 74 total cases for the month. Page 6, the only thing of real interest, which I will not comment verbally, I'll just let you read it, the last 2 or 3 sentences there. Might be interesting. It's something specifically relating to the township, but obviously it's in the midst of an investigation, so I'm not going to repeat it on tape. It needs to remain confidential. Page 7, the only thing of note is we had a couple of DARE graduations during the month. And this time of year, we normally don't get many requests for the speed trailer or different things like that. So you can see there were some individual activities. We continue to be very involved in the schools. Page 8, the K-9 report. Second paragraph describes a call-out for our K-9 unit. And again, I won't go. You can read that, but any call-out is good practice for the K-9. Eventually, I'd like to get the K-9 officer and the dog back onto a shift that might be more conducive to activity. He's working midnights right now because we're still a little bit short. On page 11, you'll see our overtime totals. November and especially December, you will see that the numbers will be up a little bit due to people using up the rest of their leave time before the end of the year. Page 12 continues to be about the same thing. You'll see thefts are concentrated along our commercial districts, especially Central Avenue, but Monroe Street to a little lesser degree. Page 13, our traffic crash and DUI arrest. Again, that's very, very even more heavily concentrated along Central Avenue. Sylvania Avenue and Monroe Street would be the other ones that are pretty big. Page 14, you can see we deposited those two totals of the $510, $3,453 comes up to just short of $4,000 that was deposited in our law enforcement trust fund account as a result of the DEA, our detective assigned to the DEA and the seizures and such. And that's about it. The only other thing that you don't have on the on your monthly report is I will tell you that we participated in a program, Lights for Lives. It ran from November 24th, 0600 to November 26th, 0600. And basically, it's stopping as many cars as you can as far as violations for that period of time. It was conducted by over 20 departments led by the Highway Patrol, over 20 departments in Northwest Ohio. And we contributed to some pretty good stats on that. I've got those stats available if you should want them. But we were active in that. And as far as criminal charges filed, I'll just give you the total. It's something that you don't have either. We filed 44, or our administrative sergeant filed 44 charges on 27 different suspects during the month in Sylvania Municipal Court. And with that, that completes my monthly report. If you have any questions or anything. Okay, moving on. I do have a resolution to present. I'd like to offer Resolution 15-150 to authorize the purchase of a police vehicle.
I'll authorize Resolution 15150 to purchase a police vehicle.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
That's the SWAT unit.
That's the SWAT vehicle.
Well, and we're the only joint, we do this with the city.
Yes,
We're
with
the only-
the city of Sylvania, yes. They have 6 officers. We currently have 7. But yeah, Maumie's a standalone, Oregon's a standalone,
There's
Toledo's a
5,
standalone. Pardon me?
Toledo, Lucas County, and
And
Oregon,
then
Maumee.
us in Oregon and Maumee.
So we're the only combined
Yes,
SWAT force.
yes.
How
Okay.
does the command work on that?
Sergeant McKinney, we have a commander, and then there's 2 assistant commanders.
So anyone is in charge with an incident, or how does,
Yeah, well,
like you've got combined officers responding?
right, we have combined officers. It depends on the situation. If we have a barricaded subject or whatever, myself, I'll respond, or perhaps the deputy chief if I'm not available, and we take over the scene as an incident commander. But as far as the planning, is like a raid or different, in the planning in response to a barricaded subject and such, the SRT commander, who is one of our sergeants, is and has been for at least 5 years, the SRT commander takes control. In his absence, we have 2 assistant commanders, one with the city, one with our department.
So our joint effort, we're the commander in charge? Or
Yeah, because we have more officers. We did have 9. We currently have 7, but we still have more officers in the unit than the city does.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, Chief.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chief. Next up, under the administrator, I have a renewal of the township contract with the Lucas County Dog Warden to provide after-hour services when needed to pick up dogs or if a dog's involved in a situation where the police are at. We use the service, I think it was, I have a number here, as I find it. In 2014, I had a sheet of paper, now I can't find it. Anyways, we use the services about 2 times a month. I think it was 26 times last year, and this provides that they will come out. If we do not have the contract, they will not come out after hours or on weekends, which presents a problem if there is a dog in a house or a dog running wild or menacing people and that. So this contract goes back over 20 years, and it's a 3-year contract. The rate is the same as last contract.
I have a question. Do they have, does the county commissioners use it for felines in any other townships? You know, that's a loaded question. It's not a loaded question. I'm just curious. Because I remember a few years ago, we looked into this for, you know, there's some neighborhoods up by Arbor Hills that have a lot of feral cats. And I remember trying to go down this path of trying to get these rescued, or could we extend our contract with them on the dogs to include
they
cats?
only, and I remember that, but I think the way the code is written and their deputies, it's dogs.
Okay. I'll offer resolution 15157 to execute agreement with the county commissioners for animal control services.
Second?
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, good catch.
150, Mr. Mahoney made the motion, Mr. Crandall seconded it, so I'll call the roll. Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
I was trying to move along, sir. I just figured go for it.
Good catch. Oh,
Well, we're already at the fiscal officer.
Yeah,
Hey.
I can take off here. Do you have anything else, John or Susan?
No, that's
Okay.
it.
Well, on our month-end analysis for November, briefly, you can see that the standard percentage would be 91.6. It's up there in our second paragraph. Our expenditures are, well below that, or nicely below that. And we'd expect that that's we'll end the year with expenditures under budget. And then as far as revenues go, our revenues in our first 3 funds are over 100%. Fire fund will end up over 100% once it gets in its EMS contract. So financially, we're doing very nicely this year. It looks like we'll finish the year that way too, nicely. So if you don't have any questions, I'll move on to our resolutions.
is something coming in on Road and Bridge? Any projects?
On Road and Bridge, we just
It's only
have
64%.
I have a note here on this. We've only spent about half of the highway improvement contracts budget in Road and Bridge Fund as of the 30th.
Yeah.
But we'll be making these payments soon, and I think I just signed some
That's
documents there for a couple
You
hundred.
answered my question.
Yeah,
There's projects
yeah, there's more
outstanding.
coming. Resolution, we have Resolution 15-153. It's a Township Annual Appropriation Resolution. And it's basically, we pass this and it needs to be sent to the county. It authorizes us to make our expenditures, collect our revenue. We do this every year, and you can see the attachments to it here. Note in that we are doing something a little bit different. The Board of Trustees authorized the fiscal officer to reallocate funds within a legally adopted appropriation. So within a particular appropriation, we can move money around within that particular appropriation rather than bringing a resolution within a particular item for like $10, $50, smaller sums in that. And I think it's a good idea for us to do. Scott, do you have any comments on it?
Yeah, I think it's good for 2 reasons. Like worst case scenario, if somebody wants to buy a $500 supply item and there's not money in that line item, they'll have to wait for a meeting to get the appropriations moved, and then they could wait another 2 meetings to get the purchase order signed. So we're just trying to expedite requisitions. And then also, it should reduce the number of resolutions we bring for the smaller dollar items, moving stuff from one line item to another.
And I like when he says move from one, it's still in the supply account. So
Right.
it's right now we have a supply account now. I'm not sure, but we'll have supply account magazines, supply account subscriptions. Well, if the subscription doesn't have enough money, we have to come to you, pass a resolution to move it from the supply magazine to supply subscriptions. This way, as long as the money's in supplies, we can move it internally, or Dave can move it with his signature. So that there's no, once you appropriate to the big line items, that stays until we want to move it, then it would come to you. So
And what's the dollar amount that you guys can just go ahead and swap back and forth? Is there a max number?
There really isn't a dollar amount as long as we're within the total for the range.
the line item appropriation.
Well, but you're not changing the budget.
No, it doesn't change, doesn't increase the budget, doesn't decrease the
I
budget,
understand it.
Right, it's just between line items.
within the same category.
So I need to offer a resolution.
I'll offer a
Okay.
resolution 15-153, Township Annual Appropriation.
Second.
You call the roll, Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Then we got other couple resolutions here. Resolution 15-154, transfer of appropriations. You can see the numbers there. This is, again, kind of, more or less cleaning up our budget here toward the year end.
I'll move resolution 15-155, transfer of funds.
I'm sorry, was that 154 maybe?
154. Yeah,
Oh, I'm
51.
sorry,
No, that's
I got
okay.
ahead. 15, I'm 154, transfer of appropriations, sorry.
Second.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
And next we have Resolution 15-155, a transfer of funds. We're transferring to the fire fund, police fund, and road and bridge funds amounts equal to the interest they would have earned this year. Rather than it coming to the general fund, we move it to the from the general fund to the various funds, because that's really their money.
Awesome. I'll offer resolution 15-155, transfer of funds.
Second?
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
And lastly, we have 156, 15-150, reduce appropriations in various accounts. It's basically due to shortfalls in anticipated grants and revenue. We need to reduce appropriated expense amounts.
I'll move resolution 15-156, reduce appropriation in various accounts.
Second.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Anything, open discussion, John? Anything? JC, anything?
No.
for open discussion?
I have nothing else before the board.
Do we have anybody in the public? Okay, I'd like to offer a motion to adjourn at 7:17.
The chief has a speech he wants to give. He's been working on it.
What's chief?
Second?
Mr. Crandall, do you second the motion?
Yes.
Okay, call the roll. Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Okay.
And Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes.
And Happy Holiday. See you, buddy. All right, take care.
January
John, have a great one.